I'm so excited seeing you all. Thank you, Lauren, for hitting record. I would have forgotten. As I told you, I probably would have. We are recording this so we can share it with anyone who is not able to join us tonight. Anyway, I was starting to say, having all of you here makes this feel very real and very exciting. So thank you. Thank you for being here with us. And thank you for registering for Camporee. This is typically an event that happens every 3 years at Girl Scouts of Utah. It's been 5 years because of the pandemic. So it's overdue, and we have a lot of anticipation and excitement around this event. And so glad that you'll be joining us. I would like to just share with you what we plan to cover tonight in our agenda. And we are committed to giving you as much information as we can, but we also want to be respectful of your time. So we're going to go through this fairly quickly. We will have time at the end for questions. And we ask if you would just hold your questions until the end. That way we can make sure we get everyone out who needs to be on their way in a short amount of time, but then we'll be happy to stay on and answer questions. So tonight we want to talk about, we're going to give you a few introductions, welcome everyone who's here. We'll give you a brief overview of what Camporee is and what you can expect in a typical day at Camporee. We'll tell you about Camporee Aides, who they are and what they do and what to expect there. Then we want to talk to you about all the things that you need to be doing now before Camporee to be prepared to have a great experience. We'll talk a little bit about safety because, you know, we're Girl Scouts and we always want to make sure that we put safety first and foremost in all that we do. We have some information for you about facilities, what that looks like, what you can expect there at camp to have available to you to do what you need. And we've got some great hospitality information for you. Then we get to the really fun stuff where we get to talk about the activities at camp. So we have some all camp activities where we'll be doing things all together. And then we have some smaller group activities. We'll tell you about what that looks like. And then we've got time for questions at the end. So by way of introductions, my name is Mindy Harmon. I'm the COO at Girl Scouts of Utah. And this is, I think maybe my fourth or fifth Camporee that I've been involved in. It's an amazing experience. Those of you who have not been to Camporee before, you're in for a treat. We have a lot of very dedicated people working behind the scenes to pull this all together. We have a Camporee committee, and I really want to emphasize and thank and ask you to thank them and help me appreciate them as well. This is a volunteer committee. They're volunteers just like you, who a lot of them also run troops or have service unit responsibilities. They're also going above and beyond to spend 9 months or so planning this amazing experience for all of you. And you'll get to hear from a lot of those committee members tonight. The Camporee Aides are also very integral in the planning and the delivery of Camporee. And like I told you, we'll hear from Nikki in a minute a little bit more about what that entails and what the Camporee Aides do. We will also have our full camp staff at camp supporting this event, which is amazing because they come with a lot of energy and a lot of ideas and resources and camp songs and games, and they just add a lot of great energy to the event. And then we have a few, not a lot, but a few core GSU staff members who are helping to support Camporee as well. I just want to put out there, because I know we're covering a lot tonight and you probably have a lot of questions. Please know that we will be following up with you next week with written information that'll reinforce and add to what we're talking about tonight. So don't stress if you don't get it all tonight. We'll have some follow-up for you there. All right, let's talk about an overview of Camporee, what to expect and what this looks like. Probably have a lot of this on your calendars already, but just a reminder about the dates. We are June 15th through 17th at Trefoil Ranch in Provo Canyon. Such a beautiful environment, a great place to gather as Girl Scouts. The theme for this year is Survivor, which just feels so appropriate as we've all survived a lot in the last few years. And we're very resilient as Girl Scouts, and we're going to celebrate that together. Our mascot is that adorable hedgehog that you saw on the first slide. And we're excited to learn more about that hedgehog. We have a naming competition going on and a patch competition. So you'll be seeing more of our adorable little hedgehog. I want to tell you a little bit about the purpose of Camporee, because it's so important that we recognize why we're doing this. It's beyond that it's fun. It is fun, of course, but it really is a building block in the progression of the outdoor experience for our Girl Scouts. It's an opportunity to come to a very safe environment, have an outdoor experience, and maybe feel a little more confident in doing that on your own as a troop, and helping our Girl Scouts increase their competence and confidence in the outdoors. And along with that, it really is an amazing experience to feel the sisterhood of Girl Scouts in Utah, to be with 500-600 other Girl Scouts in one place is a pretty incredible experience. So those are the reasons we hold Camporee. And I want to give you an overview of our schedule. This is really a high level overview, and some of this might change just a little bit, but I know you want to know what to expect. And so I want to put this out there. Again, this will come to you in a written format as well, so you don't have to commit this all to memory, but you can take screenshots if that's helpful for you. What I've done on this schedule is I've highlighted the things where you really are owning that time with your troop. It's not time that's being facilitated by the Camporee Committee or the Camporee Aides. These highlighted sections are the things that you're really going to want to pay attention to, because you need to make sure you're planning and looking ahead for what you need to do there. So first day, Thursday, June 15th, we will have troops arriving between 10 and roughly 12:30. We've got until 2 o'clock for everyone to check in, set up campsites, have lunch. Lunch is on your own with your troops. We'll talk more about meals in a minute. Then we start off with a leader meeting where one person from each troop will gather. We'll go over some important information for the weekend. We'll have a really fun opening ceremony and a swap exchange. More to come about swaps in a moment. If you're wondering what that is, we'll fill you in. And then dinner. And dinner every night is provided by camp. So that's a meal that you don't need to worry about preparing. Then we will have our first all camp activity, a time when everyone together is participating in a camp activity, followed by an opening campfire and s'mores. I don't have that on here, but that's important. I have to add that. And we also feel like it's important that we have some focused time after that just for older Girl Scouts, our cadets, seniors, and ambassadors. They'll have an activity just for them. And then quiet hours begin at 10. And then we start again on Friday. Friday, quiet hours end at 7 a.m. And we do ask that everyone respect those quiet hours. We have some night owls and some early risers, so we try to accommodate everyone within the schedule. Then breakfast, again, this is highlighted because this is on your own. You're taking care of breakfast for your troop. Then we'll have some program workshops, which you'll hear more about later on in the presentation. Lunch, again, is in your troop, and combined with lunch is some troop time. You do have these 2 time blocks on Friday to do whatever you like as a troop. And this is a really great opportunity to get input from your Girl Scouts. This should be girl-led. Ask them what they'd like to do during this time. It could be working on badges. It could be an arts and crafts project, working on outdoor skills, whatever it is that they'd like to work on while they're at camp. Maybe a little bit of downtime is okay too. Figure out what makes sense for you and your Girl Scouts. Dinner, again, provided by camp. Then we'll have an evening activity on Friday night. It's a dance party. We're really excited about that, and you'll hear more about that tonight too. And once again, then that older girl time right before quiet hours. And then it will wrap up all too soon on Saturday. We will again have breakfast in your units, in the troops. That's on your own. And you also have some time in the morning to have your breakfast and pack. Then we'll have a closing program and then check out following the closing program. There's your quick overview of the schedule, so you have a sense of what your days will look like at Camporee. And Nikki is here with us. She's a member of our Camporee committee, and she's going to talk to you about Camporee Aides.
Hey everyone, I'm Nikki Stuckey. I am the committee chair for the Camporee Aides. I am also a troop leader like most of you. I lead an older girl troop. And for the Camporee Aides, we have about 20 Camporee Aides. They are all in 8th through 12th grade, and an awesome group of girls. Let me tell you, they are super enthusiastic and excited to come to Camporee and, I don't know, just be a part of the magic that happens there. I will ask that they're going to be roaming around Camporee as the days go on. They'll be leading the older girl program at night. They've got some fun ideas just to hang out with the girls and get to know other Girl Scouts. But the biggest thing that I would ask of all of you and of your troop members is to remember that they are there to assist. So they can be helpful if you have a girl that's upset, they're going to be carrying around with them, stuff to make friendship bracelets or boondoggles. I have one that's insisting upon handing out saltine crackers. So just know if one of your girls comes back with a saltine cracker, my Camporee aide believes that they solve all the world problems. So saltine crackers. But they are going to be there to really help you and your girls have fun at camp. So please be respectful. Remember that they too are volunteers and they are really there to just make the experience better. So yeah. Is there
Thank you
anything you
so
want me to
much,
add,
Nikki.
Mindy?
No, that's amazing. Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
I would just add that it's really an honor. There's a selection process. The
Yes.
Girl Scouts had to apply and be selected, and they're going through a lot of training to be
Yes.
prepared to support Camporee. So they're working really
Yeah.
hard. It's not just at Camporee.
Yeah,
Thank
they
you
have
so
been
much, Nikki.
yeah, they've had a couple of training programs. They're going through similar program training that like a program aide or a counselor in training go through. So they're getting some pretty extensive training, but we're also giving them fun training so that they can, or they've been teaching each other different songs and cheers and friendship bracelet patterns. I don't know those, so they have to do that. So they have got a whole thing going a lot amongst them. So please, please reach out to them. If you see them wandering around camp, give them a high five and let them be a part of your experience.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much. And
Yep.
thank you for all the work you're doing to get the Camporee
Yeah.
Aides ready. Lauren, I forgot to run my poll. I knew I was going to forget. I need to put it in the PowerPoint to remind myself. So I have a poll. I would like to get a sense from all of you how prepared you are feeling for Camporee. So will you take just a moment? Is it showing on the screen? Oh, yep, you're responding, so it must be showing. Fabulous. How prepared are you feeling? Very prepared, somewhat, not really sure, or just no, not prepared at all. All right, looks like we got some good responses coming in. I'll give it just a couple more seconds. Looks like a few people are changing their minds. I get that. We might feel prepared in the moment and then not so much the next. All right, I'm going to end that poll and share the results. It looks like most of you are feeling pretty prepared. Some of you not quite sure, not prepared at all. I hope that we can help you feel a little more prepared by the end of our time together tonight. Perfect, thank you. And if I remember, we'll check in again with the poll at the end of the orientation as well. All right, now we have Lily Smith, who is a longtime Camporee volunteer. Lily, how many Camporees have you participated in?
It'll be my 8th.
8. That's amazing. Impressive. So you'll see Lily's got a lot of knowledge to share about Camporee, and she's going to talk to you about the things that you need to be doing now to make sure you're prepared.
First thing you need to do is get your paperwork in. It's due on by the 18th of May. Normally we had collected them at camp, but this year we're going to have them collected before. And you'll find all that information on the computer underneath Camporee if you can search it out. Planning your meals. You need to prepare your meals ahead of time. Breakfast and lunch, just as many as I've already talked about, but also you need to do some snacks. The girls like to have snacks in between eating stuff, and we will be sending some suggestions for menu stuff out.
All right.
Okay, now your plan transportation. You need to plan how you're going to get up to Trefoil, how you're going to get home, and make sure that all your people have papers that they need, vehicle with them to get up to having it in the car. And you also need to make sure that those who are coming to pick up girls at the end of camp know the troop number and the leader's name. The people who will meet you at the gate and help them get up there does not know everybody's troop. So you need to make sure you know the troop name and number. Then you have troop. Well, let's talk about, you need to practice setting your tents up. Nobody knows how to, not everybody will be available to help you put your tent up. You're gonna have to put all that stuff up yourself. And it is nice to practice it at home before you get up there. Now, on troop planning time, you need to come with stuff to help with that your troop likes to do. Like crafts and games. Last Camporee, I noticed there was a troop that was going through badge books and figuring out what troop needed. Some girls needed this, and some troop needed that, and they were working on that together. So, but you need to have something there. Just don't think that you pick stuff up for the Camporee committee, because there will not be any of that. You know, making swaps. Swaps is something that we have done for years in Camporee. They're called those little whatchamacallits things. And it's nice to have a pin on them. They're not large, they're small. I'm going to show you my Camporee hat here. It has all my swaps on it. I don't know if you can actually see what they are. Some of them I just have a little round ball with a pin on it. There's some eyes. You take from every girl. You don't say, okay, I don't like that one, I don't want it. You trade and do the things you can do. And those need to be made ahead of time, because we will be doing that. Trading those the first thing. Now, on making a troop flag, you can, this is optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but a lot of troops like to have a flag where they can identify themselves. And it's a, you can make one and bring it, or you don't have to, but it's something that has been done for years and it's packing list. We will.
Really quick, Lily.
Yeah.
Someone wanted to know how many swaps each girl should bring. We have, what's the total of people coming? Mindy, I can't remember the exact total of girls coming to camp.
501.
So really it's however many they want to be able to trade with other people. If they only want to make 50 to trade, 50 is a good number. If they want to make more to trade, try to trade with everyone. It's their choice how many they want to make really quick.
Last year I made, well, last time I made 147 run out. Everybody wanted to trade. So it all depends on how to do it. You can also trade the ones you've got. If you can, the ones that are given to you, you can trade them too. It's not just the ones you bring. Packing list, we'll be sending out a paper on that. There is 2 lists on the paper that I gave to Minnie, hand out. One is what the girls need to be and the other need to do, and the other is what the troop needs to bring. Training. All leaders, at least one leader from each troop needs to have camping 101. And I would advise that the others 2, if they can possibly do it, but you only have to have one to be at Camporee. And there's 2 of those coming up. One on May 4th in Salt Lake, and another on May 18th in Ogden. You know, and you need to, with your troop, have an emergency person. If something goes wrong, that one of the people at camp can call them and they can notify all the parents. Like if they're decided they want to stay a half hour longer than they think they're going to be somewhere. It's just don't mean to Camporee. This is all your events and stuff, but you need to have a person where they can be called. And then they can call the parents. Because one thing at Trefoil there is not, if you can't use cell phones at Trefoil, because a lot of them does not work. So. And there is a Girl Scout of Utah emergency number that you can call. I don't know if the one I have is the correct one or not, because I haven't used it or even looked at it for a while, so. Might want to send that number out with the stuff that we're sending out. And then you need to be prepared to walk, if you can walk. I'm not a great one to say that right now, but anyway, it's a half a mile up the road from the lodge to the middle. And so you need to be able to do that. And I think that's all I.
Wait a minute.
Thanks, Lily. All right. I think I'm up next. Perfect. So we're talking about safety next. Safety is in all of our Girl Scout blood. Always trying to keep our activities as safe as possible. So at Camporee, we will have 2 first aid stations. One of them will be in the meadow, which is where the majority of our participants are going to be setting up their tents. So there's going to be a first aid station up there for you all. And then there will be another first aid station down by like the main buildings of camp, where a lot of our activities will be taking place. So you're welcome to go to either first aid station. They will have the paperwork for everybody at both first aid stations. And just know that that is available to everyone to use for whatever safety needs come up. Medications. For Camporee, all medications of everybody coming to Camporee have to be turned in to our health staff. So that includes girl participants as well as adult participants. For adults, like you can tell your troop leaders, we're not going to look in your medication bag and try and figure out what you're doing. If an adult comes and they say, I need to take my medications, we'll just give you the bag. We don't record it, but we have to have those collected just for the safety of all of our participants. And that includes any sorts of medications, whether it's prescription medications or over-the-counter medications. We really just want to prevent any kids from finding a bottle of random medications, thinking it's candy, etc., and ending up in a bad situation. And it's part of our accreditation standards that we hold at our camp programs. If kids are bringing medications, they will have to have a medication log that is completed prior to them coming up that tells the health staff when they take it, how much they take, and all of those different pieces. I saw a question just come through, EpiPens and inhalers. Yes, the kids are able to keep those on themselves because that is rescue medication that they need to take immediately. But we do need to know that the kids have the inhalers and the EpiPens on them. So that way, if an incident occurs, we are able to react in the proper way.
Laura,
Buddy system. Oh, Barbara.
just real quick, back with the medication, they need to be in the actual medicine container, correct?
Yep, they need to be in the original bottle that the medication comes in. So no splitting it up into the easy pill organizers prior to coming to camp. We need original bottles for everything from prescription medications to gummy melatonin, like no Ziploc baggies of random miscellaneous medications, because we are not able to administer those without confirming that it's the right medication. And that normally involves calling the parents and tracking it all down. And it's easier to just bring the bottle. And I always recommend just bring the number that you need for the program. Don't send the full 3-month supply of the prescription medication. Send 3 days worth of medication, maybe an extra just in case one falls in the dirt, but don't send the whole supply. Okay, buddy system. At camp, we do the buddy system. So kids need to be with at least one other buddy at all times. And when they are within a buddy pair, we do ask that they are only traveling just as buddies if they are within eyesight or earshot of the adults that are with them. Camp is pretty spread out. Don't send them half a mile up the hill by themselves to go grab their shoes from their tent. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of trails, there's a lot of places they could go. So kids always need a buddy, whether they're going to the bathroom, whether they're going to visit the health tent. And then they otherwise just make sure that they're within eyesight or earshot of the troop leaders that are responsible for them. Wildlife, we do have wildlife at camp. We're camping, we're outdoors, it's awesome. So the main wildlife that we have at camp are turkeys and deer, are going to be your most common animals that you see at camp. There is the potential for other animals to come around as well. We've seen a moose wander through camp the past couple of years. But when packing your food, just keep in mind that animals exist. So making sure we're not dropping trash or dropping food crumbs. I'd recommend packing all of your food in like hard-sided containers, so your coolers or like a tote, versus just having bags of food or things that are kind of sprawling all over the place. Because we want to respect the wildlife. Please ask your kids to not try to go pet the deer or chase the turkeys and things like that. Give them their space, get some amazing photos, but they are there. And then just as a reminder that the committee and the Camporee Aides and the camp staff, we are all there to help provide the programmatic pieces to our campers, but the ultimate responsibility of the safety of the Girl Scouts and the behavioral issues that may arise will fall on you as the troop leaders. But that's not to say if something comes up and you need a little bit of guidance on how to handle a situation, please reach out. We've got amazing camp staff that are going to be on site. These Camporee members on our committee have been through years and years and have lots of experience to be able to help you too. And sometimes kids just need a different person to say like, it's cool, you can do this, we're not calling mom. So they just need that other backup. Okay, there was a question about what about meds for adults? Is a pill pack okay? I would still recommend that you put it in the original bottles, just so that way, like if something were to happen to you or to an adult, like we might know what kinds of medications you were taking if we had to transport you off site or if an emergency were to occur. So I would highly recommend it, but for an adult, I'm not gonna say you can't have your medications because they're not in the original bottles, because we're not distributing them in the same way for an adult as we do, as we administer them to campers, to kids, campers. Okay, that is my piece. Next up, facilities.
That will be me. Really quick, I do notice that someone did mention that the Camping 101 had been canceled in Ogden and they were trying to reschedule that. So that was just on there for everyone. I'm confirming that through council that is a trying to be rescheduled thing, but I didn't want you to think we didn't hear you. So my job at camp is to make sure you guys get your home for the couple of days you're there. And
Your name?
oh, I'm Nyla Smith. I've been in a Girl Scouts for a long time. I can't do the math today. Sorry. Years, lots of them, over 30 for sure. My job is to help you get into camp and be there. And then also to make sure you can get all the things done while you're there, have a good time, and help you get out. So we're just going to go through these lists of things to do. Unloading your stuff. So once you check in, which we're going to talk about in a minute, at the bottom of the hill, we're going to have you drive up to the meadow or to as close to wherever you are staying as we can. You will then unload your stuff. We will show you, have some tarps out for you to unload your stuff onto. As close, we're going to try to get you as close to where you're going to be camping as we possibly can. And we're going to do it a little bit different this year from past years, trying to get you closer to your space. So you don't have to haul it across the meadow as much. And then once the cars are unloaded, we're going to ask that the drivers take them down to park them. And we will have some Camporee Aides up there in case all your leaders are in cars that need to be driven down and parked. So we can have you take them to your girls to where the Camporee Aides are, so we can have someone help watch them till you get back up there. Then after you get your cars parked, and we have some great people helping with that, you will be parking in backwards, which is Girl Scout policy, which is, I've got to see that in action. And so it's really important that we do it that way. And we will help you will be really parked close to cars but it'll be safe so that you can get as many cars in there as we can. Then your job will be to set up your campground. There'll be that time to set up your tents, get your, if you have your troop flag, set it up, get all your space ready to go, do what you need to do, and that will be that. On cooking, there will be a cooking area. Open fires will not be allowed. In the cooking area, if you're using a camp stove, you can bring that and set it up in there, but your actual preparation of your food and stuff will have to happen in your camp. Just the cooking part, and the girls that are doing the cooking will come over to the cooking station to do the actual cooking stuff. Anything else has to be done there's just not enough room for every troop to come in that space to do all of that. Your dishwashing, we will have an area set up for that where you can do the with the hot water, with water available for you to do the washing of that. And then the gray water disposal is created to help us get rid of that water you use for washing your dishes and stuff, and to dispose of the water in a safe way. There will be a 5-gallon container there that will have this really cool, we're doing a whole new system than we've done in the past. It's this cute, cool, you can see right through it, mesh bag that will be inside the 5-gallon containers. You will dump your water through that. So any food particles will get caught inside of that. And then you need to make sure you are dumping those food particles into the garbage cans that will be available there. And then returning that after you dump your water where it is designated to dump it in that space, then you will make sure that filter gets back in there for the next troop to use. And any help you can do with that to make it so it stays as clean as possible over there will be much appreciated. And then water, what that is talking about is our morning hot water that we will have for you. We at camp know that some of you might not want to have to do the cooking and just have things that just are already cooked or ready to go. We will, if you want hot chocolate and that's all you really want, but you don't want to set up a whole camp stove for that, we will have hot water available for you to come get. You just have to bring a container to put it in, and we will ladle it into a container for you to take back to your camps to use for whatever you want for your breakfast meals in the morning. We'll only have them at breakfast. Your lunch meals, we will not do that for, but we do have it for breakfast, and we will let you know the times when that will be available. And it'll be over in the cooking area. And then if you're in the units, we will also have some in Circle K for the people that are in Diamond D, and the people that are in Rocking Peak can choose to go down to Circle K to grab some of that hot water. And if you're in the Bar M unit, you can come up to the Meadow to grab some hot water. Bathroom facilities, again, we will have what we call buffet lane that will have all those, and they'll talk about capers later. You are, as troops, will help us to keep those clean, but if your girls have been taught, it's in someone just asked where the cooking area is from the Meadow. It's in the Meadow. Your tents are on one side of the road and the cooking area is on the other side of the road. We'll have it all, you'll be able to see it when you come in. It'll be all cornered off and labeled, so you can't miss it. It'll be just to the right of where the big friendship tent will be for everyone to hang out in, but you won't miss it. Bathroom facilities, again, what I was saying is you will be able, please help us to keep it clean. If you guys see a lot of stuff, if you see the garbage sacks need to be emptied and it's not time for a troop to come do that, let someone know so we can get on that and keep our camp as clean as possible. Make sure the girls know that like you don't throw tampons and pads, do not go down in the if you're in the units, if using those bathrooms, they don't go down in those toilets at all. They need to throw them in a garbage can so they don't get stuck in there. We've had problems with that in the past, but we really ask that you help and train your girls to be litter detectives, not litter bugs. So help us to keep them clean. And the showers are not to be used at camp. So just remind your girls that there are no showers for the 2 nights that they're sleeping there. Tough it up and be a good girl. So, and then garbage, you are responsible to make sure your garbage gets up to, we will have a big dumpster up in the Meadow for you to put it in up at the Meadow. And so help keep your campsite clean and get that up to there. And then you need to bring your own garbage bags and stuff to facilitate getting your troops garbage up to that dumpster. And then again, reiterate just that there are no fires allowed at camp because there's just too many of us, and it's probably, even though we've had lots of snow, we probably are still going to have a dry area up there. And so we just prefer to keep the fires. The only thing we're going to have for flames are camp stoves. And if you have any questions or concerns about that, let us know at the end of this, and we will talk about those. But that's pretty much that. And then it's not on there, and I didn't think about it, but when we leave camp, you'll have all your stuff packed up and ready to go. You will have to get checked off by a someone from the Camporee committee or the camp aides, just to make sure your area is clean before you leave. We will get you a time for your checkout and get you up there as quickly as we can. And if our roads work the way they're supposed to, we'll be able to get most of the troops up there really fast and get you all out of there really quick. And that's the goal, because I know you all don't like waiting around to get home, and we will make it as quick as we can to get you out and get you home. Yes, you do need to bring your own camp stoves for your troop. You cannot have your camp stove in your camp. Those have to be in the cooking area to make it safe for everyone. Every troop has to be doing their cooking in the main facility of the cooking area, and no flames of any sort will be allowed in the camping area where the girls are. If you want to bring wash bins, people are asking questions and I'm just trying to respond. If you want to bring wash bins, I would recommend you bring your own. We will have a place where you can fill up the water and you can sit and do the washing, but for the most part, you would really need to supply your own things. You would eat in your unit area. So if you want to also, where do you eat after you cook someone else? You're going to want to do that in where your tents are. So you're going to want to set up a space when you set up your tents and stuff, for you to have your troop group activities and events to go on. So either your girls can sit on their sit-upons if they bring those, or whatever, bring your camp chairs. But you will do that in your unit, in your area where you're camping at.
Question. So camp stoves are allowed, or they are not allowed?
You may bring your camp stoves, and you can put them up in the cooking area that we provide, and you can leave it there set up, and no one will use your camp stove. Everyone just knows that that's theirs and comes and uses it when it's time. You don't need to take it down between your meals, but it will be there.
Okay, so we can bring the propane kind or just the little green ones?
You can
either
bring
or?
those. Yeah, they just need to be in. Yeah, you'll bring those in there. And Mindy just gave a great suggestion for bringing your small tables and camp chairs for your areas. That will all be on your packing list that they send you. But yes, you can bring your own camp stove for your own troop. Other troops should not be using yours unless you're buddying up with another troop and you're going to share one. But you need to bring your own stove if you want to cook stuff. So just from there, that's, I think, pretty much. And then any other questions we can ask at the end. And we'll move on to the next person.
Really
that helps.
quick, there's sometimes plans to be some wind up in the meadow and that. So if you guys are bringing canopies and that, make sure you have weights or stakes to hold that down so it doesn't go flying.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's me again. Okay, check in at Camporee. You will be met at the gate, as Lila was talking about, and then be sent up to the check-in area. You'll be checking in from your car, so you need to have your medications and anything else that's get it ahead of time with you. Last time we had girls that went over and helped take bring them over, and then you had to go take the clipboard back and you had to sign yourself in. And then when we got word from up at the top that you could go up, and we would send you up from there. Nyla talked a little bit about bathroom capers. I have to say one thing, we have a lot of bathroom capers. So a lot of troops will have the bathroom capers. When you get your stuff at the leaders meeting, there will be a paper or something like this in there that will tell you what your caper is. All depending on the size of your troop, you might have one caper or you might have two capers or what. All depends on the size of your troop. The trading post will be open and have things for you. You have, and you can buy them. I noticed in the Camporee information on Girl Scouts that it's telling you how you can put money into an account. So the money's already there and the girls can go ahead and spend it. And the trading post will have ice, so you can, and I don't know how much it is a bag. It was $1 last time, but it might be more expensive. Stuff's gone up in price. And there will be there'll be an information booth down by the lodge if you have questions that you need to ask. Is there anything else we need to talk about tonight?
I think with your information tables, just if you need any help, that's there. And then if you have any concerns, you can go there and we can get someone to you to help you.
My committee's thinking they don't need to have one in the middle because they don't have any questions up there, but I don't know. They're still debating on it. There will be one at the lodge though.
There is going to be one up in the meadow, but it is not going to be manned the whole time. There will be a schedule that will be up there telling you when we are available at the meadow. The one down at the lodge should be manned most of the time. I'm still working out that schedule with Mindy.
I do remember what I wanted to say. Lost and found will be at the information table. So we'll have it strung up there. So if you lose something or you find something, if you can bring it and hang it, there will be some clips to hang it there. And then you can, if you lost something, you can come look for it there.
I guess this is my turn.
Yes.
This is Barbara. I am been doing Camporee for about 5 Camporees now. What all camp is, we have Thursday evening activity and Friday evening activity, and we are also in charge of the closing ceremony on Saturday. Thursday night, we are having a fun activity. Some of you already know. We kind of didn't want you, we wanted to surprise you all, but it's going to be lots of fun, and it will be lots of teamwork and fun and lots of walking around. So make sure you, of course, at camp has to wear closed-toe shoes and closed-toe heels. Tennies are always a good thing for up there. So basically we are just planning a big activity for you all to participate in. And then we're going to have, as you already know, a campfire and songs and s'mores and all that fun stuff. And that's for Thursday night, your very first night at Camporee. And then on Friday night, as you already know, we're having a dance party with some other fun stuff going on at the same time. We have a DJ coming to entertain and to goof around with the girls. He is a true entertainer, and he's also a Girl Scout dad on top of this, is what I've been told. So that will be fun. And then on Saturday, we're going to have our closing start at the campfire. And then I am not telling you how we're ending with our closing, but it will be a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I want to leave you guys in a lurch and yearning to find out what it's all about, because Camporee is lots of fun. And that's all from our all camp.
Hi, I'm Curly. I'm on the committee for the different activities that we're doing. So on Friday, there's a 2-hour block in the morning and a 2-hour block in the afternoon for activities. We have some really exciting things that are happening. We have some guest presenters that are coming up to camp, and then we have all kinds of really fun activities that are focused on outdoor skills. We will be sending out a survey to all the troops and having you look at the different options for the activities that we have and having you rank them to your favorites. And we will, as a committee, make sure that you get to at least several of your favorite choices for the activities that you want to do. And then we'll just put you in other ones as well that are kind of fun. We ask that when you sign up or when you're going to a workshop, that you stay at that workshop the whole time, that you get there on time, that you stay with your troop and you go to the one that you've been scheduled for, rather than like showing up and saying, oh, that wasn't really fun, I want to go somewhere different. Because we've got everything kind of coordinated as to how many people can be at the different workshops at the different times. We need you to also then to stay for the full time, because that shows respect, Girl Scout respect for whoever the presenter is or whatever the workshop is, whatever we're doing in that workshop. There's a few activities that are more open-ended. So like, for example, boondoggle and friendship bracelets, so that you can either go as your troop and do that anytime during those 2 activity blocks. Or you can even take some of the materials and bring them back to your camp later on to do it during some of your troop time. So there's some of those activities. And there's a few that you can actually do on your own as a troop. For example, there's one that's going to be like a scavenger hunt. Not quite like the all camp activities, but a little bit different. Some of the activities also have takeaways. So there'll be some things that the girls will get and the adults as well. That'll be really fun and will help you when you get back after Camporee is over to remember some of the skills that you've learned and to continue to practice those. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and look forward to the survey that will be coming out soon.
Thank you, Curly. Thank you all to all of our committee members, not only for being here tonight, but for all of your work leading up to this point. Thank you so much. I hope you're all as excited about this as we are. I'm going to launch my poll again. I remembered this time to do it. If I can find the right poll. Just want to check in and see how you're feeling now. See if you're feeling a little bit more prepared for Camporee. All right, are you seeing the poll? Good, good. Seeing some results come through, so you must be seeing it. Great. It looks like a few of you are feeling a little more prepared. Happy to see that. Some of you are still not feeling quite prepared. We understand that as well and really want to be able to support you. Please reach out if you have any questions about Camporee. You can email info@gsutah.org, and those questions will either be answered immediately by our customer care team, or if they're not able to help you, they'll forward those on to us. And also, again, please remember that we will be sending out an email more information in writing to recap this and additional support resources for you. So please be watching for that. And we also have a few minutes now that we can just take some questions. You've got a lot of experts here, so this is a great opportunity to ask those questions and let us help you feel prepared. I'll just share those results. Looking pretty good. I'm really happy to see that most of you are feeling prepared, and we'll do all that we can to help you all feel prepared. All right, feel free to unmute and ask your questions or type in the chat or raise your hand, whatever you're most comfortable with.
Hi.
Yes, go ahead. Is that
Sorry.
Mary?
Yes. We have a really young troop, and we're a little unsure if we're prepared for it. If our troop does not go, can some individual of the troop go?
Mary, I'm sorry, you were cutting out a little bit at the very end. What was your question at the end?
If our troop doesn't go, can just a few of our troop members go? Like maybe say we have 20 in our group and only like 5 want to come.
Yes.
Is possible?
Yes, you can do that. We aren't able to give refunds for the registrations for Camporee because Camporee is so popular and it has such a short registration window that once people take spots for Camporee, they're taken. And we are preparing based on those numbers, buying supplies and ordering supplies. So we aren't able, unfortunately, to give refunds. But yes, if your numbers go down, you're welcome to bring whoever can come. And
Now, if
also think about if there's anything we can do to help you feel more prepared, we would love to work with you and help you with that.
now a follow up on that, if that's okay. Sorry.
Sure.
If since we paid, let's say for 20 people, that money you said can't be refunded, can that money go towards their amount, their extra amount, I guess?
I'm not sure what you mean by extra amount, but if you're asking if it can be used for something else, the answer is unfortunately no to that as well, because we are buying supplies and ordering all of our gear and equipment based on the full numbers.
Okay.
Did that answer your question, Mary?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions? Debbie, it looks like you've got your hand raised.
Yeah, what does the swap event look like? Is it just we're swapping throughout the camp, or will there be an event where we're actually like mingling and doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, great question. Yes, we will gather near the lodge by the fire pit in the main area of camp, and we will kick off Camporee all together there, and that will then lead into the swap exchange. So it will just be in one small area of camp.
And then for meals, you guys wouldn't happen to have a list of successful meals from past years or something?
Yes, we do. And that will actually be part of the materials we're sending out as a follow-up to this. So watch for that. And I do see someone put in the chat as well that they want some ideas for no-cook meals and activities for troop time. If anyone here would like to share something that's worked for you with your troop, feel free to share, but there will be more of that coming in the written materials that we send out.
Mindy, I saw someone asked also, she said they're a first year troop and they've never brought girls to camp and wanted to know if they had additional specific questions that needed walking through some stuff, if there was someone specific that they could reach out to. So I just wanted to know if they wanted to know who they could specifically contact for those questions.
Yes, absolutely. I will put my email in the chat.
And I do know that the little thing that we're sending out is going to have some ideas for meals. And I think there's some in there of no cook options too. A good one for breakfast is you could bring the oatmeal packets, come get hot water from us, and you just need the hot water to put in the oatmeal to make hot oatmeal for them. Any of those types of things for breakfast.
That's a great suggestion. I've also done pre-cooked hard-boiled eggs, string cheese, granola bars. Those are all quick and easy breakfast items that you don't have to cook. Any other suggestions? Those of you that have done some camping with your troop, any other suggestions for meals? We're getting a lot of questions about that. Oh, good. Some things in the chat. Muffins, sandwiches and cereal, sandwiches for lunch, chicken suddenly salad. Ooh, that's a fabulous idea. Prepare some like pasta salads ahead of time. Great idea.
Lunch, just like cheese, pepperoni, those, and the cheeses, you actually don't even have to keep those cold. Like those, if it's a harder cheese, you don't have to keep that in your cooler either. So
great suggestions. And I also really encourage you to involve your troop in this meal planning. They might need some suggestions to get started, but as we all know, kids can be picky eaters and they're more likely to eat if they've helped with the planning and they've had some input. It's a great way to have some girl-led involvement in your planning. Fruit and muffins and yogurt. Yes, great suggestions. Thank you.
Someone else asked best ways to keep young girls in their own camp area. Provide activities for them is what I would suggest. Have things going with your troop for them to do, but you're not going to spend your entire time in that area either. You're going to be walking to all the different events, but your troop time in your area, I would just have activities and events planned for them to do.
Yes, and setting up expectations as well with your troop about where they can go, what your expectations are, set up some boundaries for them. It's a great question. Brenda has another great question. How much space do we have? Will we be able to set up a canopy? If you are staying in the meadow, which means you're bringing a tent, yes, you will have room to set up a canopy. You could bring a small table, something that's not, don't bring something heavy, but a light portable table that you can set up for activities, and meal prep is really helpful. Some camp chairs, you will definitely have room for those things.
Yeah, when we assign you your space, we will ask you how many tents and if you have a canopy and that kind of stuff. So the person assigning areas can give you kind of a rough estimate of space for where your space is for what you have brought to set up for your camp. But a canopy is a perfect area for you to set for your camp for your girls to gather together as a troop.
Debbie, do you have another question?
Yeah, it's related to the space question. So that assignment of space happens when we get to camp, not beforehand.
When you get there, we can do that. Yeah, we will have you, when we have you come up to camp, then we will, when you get up to the top to the meadow, we'll have you unload your stuff and we'll send you, we'll have the person we'll have people sitting there to help you get your cars unloaded. And then we will, you'll go to the person that's telling people where your troop is, your space is. And so then, yeah, she will ask you then right at that time, hey, how many tents do you have? Do you have 3, 4? Do you have a canopy? And then she'll kind of guesstimate your space for you. We do have fewer girls coming and fewer troops this time. So space really isn't going to be an issue if you're worried about having enough space for your stuff. I promise. Plenty of space up there.
Okay.
We have actually had double the number that we have coming this year in the meadow. So because of that, we can say that we're confident that we'll be able to give you enough space.
And someone did ask that you have your sister troop with younger siblings and you want to be next to them. When you receive your check-in times, which will be sent out shortly in the next week with the stuff that
Yes.
that we're sending out, your check-in time, if your two troops check-up times aren't the same, let Mindy know. We can adjust that. But when you do come, just make sure when you go up, I would suggest that you meet at the bottom of the hill at Vivian Park and then come up together, one troop behind the other up that road so that you're right behind each other, so that when you get to the top of the meadow, we can adjust you we can set you right next to each other as you pull in.
And Nyla, that reminds me of another important tip. I don't think we already mentioned this, but as you're arriving, you do need to make sure that you have all of your vehicles with you in a row.
Yeah.
Because of the way that we have so many people coming into camp, and we want to make sure that we get you in together with your whole group and you've got all of your gear and all of your people in one spot. So if that means that you need to gather at Vivian Park, that's the turnoff from the main road in Provo Canyon, meet there, get all of your cars, and then head up to camp. And that will just help everything move a little bit more quickly and help you be more successful in setting up.
Yep.
And I think Nyla answered this, but check-in times for your troop. The committee has been working on this and we will send those out next week as well. And can parents drop off girls if needed? Absolutely. They just need to be with you. All of your cars need to be coming in together.
Hey, this is Heather Gilcrease. I have some questions about Rocking Peak Cabins.
Yes, go ahead, Heather.
One, do we have electricity?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a couple of plugins up there. I'm not well without my coffee. Everyone can laugh about that. I am not well without my coffee. The next question I have is, do we need to go to the meadow if we're going to cook?
Rocking P you can cook in your unit. You just need to make sure that your camp stove is set up down where the so like each unit can set up in their unit cooking area that's down there. There's a
Okay.
fire pit just set up next to that.
There's
Okay.
picnic tables in the units that, yeah, just set your stoves on the picnic tables.
Very cool. Okay. Those were the two big questions I had. Oh, and can I have a car up there, or do I need to make sure that we move our vehicles back down?
All vehicles will be parked down at the bottom.
Okay. So okay, cool. All right. Thank you. Those are the questions I had. Thanks.
They might want a wagon if they're gonna have to haul stuff.
Oh yeah, a wagon would be a great addition to your supply list.
I have one. Thanks so much.
So I think he talked about this at the beginning, but I came in a little bit late, so I apologize. So we're going to be allowed to drive our cars up to the meadow and unload everything, right?
Correct, you will. And then
Thank you.
after that's unloaded, you will drive down and park and then have to walk back up to the camp.
You guys are amazing.
And that's true no matter where you're staying. If you're staying in the units, like in a cabin or a platform tent or in the meadow, we're getting you as close to your spot as possible and having you unload and then going down and parking.
Yep.
And same for checkout. You'll drive up and load the same way. That's a good question. Thank you, Debbie. What else? What other questions do you have? I'm just checking to see if there's anything else in the chat.
Mine isn't
covered
a
most of these.
question. It was just a lesson learned of make sure you talk to your girls about the amount of things that they're packing, like limit it to one bag or whatever, or that they will need to pack it or else they will bring a lot.
Very smart, very wise. Yes. That it ends up being very cumbersome and a lot of work to move all that luggage. Would it work to have a hubby drive a truck in and help set up and then leave with said truck and then come back to help load up? Yes, you can have as many people come as you need. Nyla, do you have something you want to add to that?
With that, he can come and he'd have to unload the stuff, drive his truck down, and what we'll do is we have a parking lot for vehicles staying, and then if they're just coming to help set up, we have a spot for them to park for that. So when they get to the bottom, they will just say, I'm not staying, but I'm going to go back up and help set up camp. And then he would have to hike back up to the top too and help you set up. And then he would be able to leave when he's done. And then when he comes back, we'll get him up there with your troop and help you load it all up again. So absolutely.
Shelley, go ahead with your question.
I'm just wondering if we'll have more detailed information on what's going on in the prepared activities so that we don't duplicate that in the troop time.
Yes, Curly, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So when we send out the survey, it'll be really clear what the different options of the workshops are. With, kind of a little explanation. We kind of came up with some fun titles, but each one will have an explanation so that you'll know what activities are being offered. We'll sign you up for at the most 4 of those. So they're going to each run about 45 minutes. And then that'll give you time to transition to the next activity. And there's a 2-hour block in the morning and 2-hour block in the afternoon.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Good question. Thank you, Shelley. Along with that, do any of you have suggestions? Those of you who have been at Camporee before or have done some troop camping, do you have suggestions for newer leaders about what to do in that troop time? What's worked well for you?
I would say it's important to have like some beads and some, puzzles and, just some stuff, or maybe even some board games, just some stuff that you have floating around that, put together like just a group activity sort of ideas. You can get things like that over at the dollar store that, might be interesting. Sometimes getting a group puzzle going on with your girls is fun.
That's a great idea.
I have each girl volunteer to bring an activity so that it is more girl led and they're more excited to hear from each other and do activities together rather than it all coming from me.
I love that. That's a great suggestion. And having those things in mind that you can pull out if you have just a few minutes and you need a time filler, just having a few things in mind, maybe a quick game, even some riddles, some jokes. Just start thinking about what are those time fillers if you've got some extra downtime.
And I want to add to that too. So if your troop time is after the activities, you could also practice some of the things that you learned in the activity in the workshops. And you could also, I had another idea. Oh, the bringing your badge books. I think that's a fantastic idea as well.
I do love that idea. Start talking about what they'd like to do in the next Girl Scout year. Yeah, great planning time.
How long is troop time total?
It will vary a little bit because some of it is combined with meal times. So it will depend on how much meal prep and cleanup you have. But in general, Lauren, will you just go back to slides 5, 6, and 7 on this schedule again? And I know a few people wanted to see that again anyway, so this is a good time to go back there. So on the first day, on Thursday, from 10 until 2 is check-in, setup, and lunch. I don't anticipate that you'll have a lot of activity time in there unless you're one of the earlier troops coming in and if you set up really quickly. But you may, which is why it's good just to have those things in your back pocket that you can pull out. Then on Friday, that's when you'll have a little bit more actual troop time. You may have some time around breakfast, depending on, again, how early you all get up and what you're doing for breakfast and what your cleanup looks like. And then your lunch, same thing. And then your main one troop time block is on Friday from 3:30 to 5:30. And Saturday, not a lot because the troop time that you have is lumped in with breakfast and packing and won't be really time for activities.
And then I would make sure that on Friday, at least an hour of your troop time is kind of like rest time, quiet time. Like they don't have to be laying down in their beds, but like the card games, the coloring, the puzzles, that just lets them kind of like chill out for a little bit is really helpful because camp can be very go, and kids get overwhelmed if they don't have that forced kind of rest time.
Great suggestion, Lauren. And please still supervise your kiddos during that time. That can be a time when some mischief happens if they're not supervised, but that downtime is really important for us too, right? It might be nice for you all to have a little break too. All right, well, with that, I think we will wrap. But if you do have any other questions, please reach out. Again, info@gsutah.org. Our customer care team has a lot of information and they might be able to help you. And if not, they will pass you on to the folks who can help you. We are so excited to be with you at Trefoil Ranch. Thank you for joining us and let us know how we can help you prepare. Watch your emails, more information to come. And one last reminder, please make sure that you're working on getting those forms filled out in Ultra Camp. Thank you for being with us.
Mindy, do you have one more poll that you wanted to do?
Oh, yes, thank you. I do have one more poll. I was almost going to forget it, Lauren. Thank you for reminding me. Here we go. One last poll and then we'll call it a night. Tell us what part of Camporee you are most excited about. Are you just excited about camping in general? Are you excited about the activities or being with lots of Girl Scouts from all over the state, working on outdoor skills with your troop, the campfire program, or something else? Nice. We've got some results coming in. It looks like it's kind of all over the board. but a lot of you are really looking forward to being with a big group of Girl Scouts from all over the state. And I agree. That is one of the really amazing things about Camporee. Let me share the results of that poll so you can see what your fellow leaders are excited about. I'm so glad that you're excited to be with us. We are as well. Thank you again to our amazing Camporee committee. Thank you so much for being with us tonight and for all the work that you're doing. And we will see you at Camporee 23. Good night, everybody.